So we were just talking about how to actually retain your A players and your top talent, and some great examples. And I'd like to leave you with a short story on that, going back to talking about Louise. And the thing is, because she was an A player, she often got offered jobs, and a lot of the time got offered jobs for more money. But it wasn't the money that kept her in the role. It was the fact that we didn't micromanage her, and that we actually knew what made her tick. And as a small example, she'd had an amazing quarter. She'd blown away her target by about 200%. And I thought, well, I really have to do something special for her here. If I write her a check, it could have reverse consequences. She might look at that and think, really, I've been in the dealership till 10 o'clock every night and that's all I'm worth? And the reality is that she was already on a good compensation plan. So I thought, what can I do to mark this event and just show that I realise that her performance is outstanding? And then I remembered that that summer I'd had the management team round to my house for drinks, and Louise was there, stood there just looking at our refrigerator, just in awe, because we had a Maytag, and at that time in the UK that was pretty unusual. But you see, part of the deal when my wife, who's American, agreed to stay in the UK was that we got a real fridge, because she said to me, honey, something like that doesn't really do it, because by the time I've put the kids' milk in there, it's full. I need a real refrigerator. So luckily I knew a guy who could get me a Maytag. And Louise just thought this was the most amazing thing. It was like a walk-in refrigerator. And so I thought back to that and thought, I know, I'll get her a fridge. So I phoned the guy who knew a guy, and I had a Maytag delivered to her house. Well, she was over the moon. She talked about it for years later. And the thing is, she could have afforded it, but she just wouldn't have wanted to spend that kind of money. And I remember about a month afterwards, I saw her husband at the Christmas party, and I wandered over to him and I said, so, Sam, how'd you like that refrigerator? He said, oh yeah, the fridge. Yeah, brilliant, thanks for that. He said, yeah, the fridge is great. We've almost finished the remodel we had to do to the kitchen to fit it in. So sometimes these things have unintended consequences. But what it comes back to is knowing your people and knowing what motivates them. Because in my experience, money is not what keeps your A players.